All right, so we got that property to go look at next. You set up the showing for it?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, you did. You
Yeah,
did.
I set it up.
All
I'm
right,
just
well, we got a property we're going to evaluate and run you through the process of when you're purchasing a property, what the numbers look like, and should you flip it or not. Maybe we'll make an offer today.
Maybe not. We're going to make an offer.
We're going to make an offer.
Maybe we
Make the offer.
These hands of mine
If Matt's
got
there.
some stories to tell. Seen parts of heaven and a whole lot of hell. Headed west to stake a claim in the
Hey,
ground.
another ugly property. Luigi!
It's a me, Mario.
I don't want to touch you, COVID man. COVID man. Where's Mini-Me?
Whoa.
Look at him with
Hey.
those stunner shades on.
Hey,
Yee. Stunny.
I'll take them off.
Stunny.
Well, at least you made the appointment. It only took you like
Okay.
half a day to get it set up.
Okay. Hey, we're here, ain't we?
We're here.
We're here.
All right, hey guys, come with us and check out this potential fix and flip here in Easley, South Carolina. We'll kind of show you what we do when we do a walkthrough of a property that we're looking at potentially purchasing.
Well, that looks like the return at my house. That's what it's supposed to. So this is what your HVAC return's supposed to look like. If your return doesn't look like this at home, you're changing your filters too much. Okay, this is what we're going for. It helps with lung deterioration, fibrosis of the lungs, things of that nature. And this Brandon's a
COPD.
pediatric nurse. He can tell you more about COPD
Hey,
and
man,
the
I'm a nurse
effects.
practitioner.
Oh, nurse, excuse me, he's still practicing.
I had to work for that extra, you know, I had to do a little more school.
So walking in, you can see a bunch of stuff has been left. Typically, it's a sign that somebody's been evicted. You can look at the floors, look at this, and you can almost smell this. In this business, we always say this smells like money. The worse the property smells, the more likely it is you can make a good deal on it. Walking through, we're always going to check kitchen. You can see uneven floors, just stains on all the walls. Come get a shot of this sink. So this probably got rats or some sort of bird has been in the dwelling. And then you can just see buildup of dirt from over time. Like people live like this. You've got animal byproducts on the floor, AKA doo-doo. You got stalactites.
Country of origin, please.
Country of origin.
So like the kids in the spelling bee.
Yeah, definitely couldn't spell it, but I can define it. And it's just basically a rock growth inside a cave. This is just nastiness.
Well, it smells awful in here. He went, if you want to learn how to know definitions like stalactite, you go to culinary school. That's what Matthew did.
You can see in here, like, I always want to look at the electrical panel, and you can see, like, we've got some issues with electrical already by not even opening it. You got 100 amp service. This will have to be upgraded. So when you're checking this stuff off a list, like I know I got to upgrade electrical here.
Is this mom's spaghetti?
Yeah,
It's my knees weak. Their palms are sweaty
something.
because it looks like vomit.
It looks like my apartment in college.
Seriously, it's just burn. It's just
No, that's
burn.
just grease.
Grease. Yeah.
Like if you took, I'm not gonna use my knife,
You literally just take some Dawn.
and it would clean right up.
Clean up.
We don't
Why
even
don't
need to
people do
replace the
that?
cabinets.
But what makes somebody live like this is the biggest question to me. We see it all the time. And my number one question, because I like to think about people, the relationships, their life story. That's kind of like what fires me up is like, why do people act the way they do? And to sit there and see the way so many people live in these houses. We've bought trap houses where there's needles, where there's crack rocks. We go in places where there's clothes left everywhere. There's grease on the floor. It's like, how do you get to a point to where you're comfortable living like this? And the sad thing is a lot of people have children.
Yeah.
And so you look at us from an investor standpoint, a lot of times, you know, I'm on social media and the Finance Cowboy brand, and I hear people, you know, talk about, oh, you're making real estate too expensive. You're buying houses and y'all are fixing them up, and that's why the rest of us can't buy homes. Well, tell me the average person who can come into a house like this and buy this home. Can they get a loan? Do they have the money to fix any of this up?
Yeah.
Can they afford to, you know, all that stuff falls into play. And so you've got this group of homes, group of people that leave these dwellings that were probably nice at one point in terrible condition. And I look at it as our duty at Dad's Flipping Houses to say, okay, this is just going to continue to deteriorate. Because how long do you think it's sat like that? I mean, it's been sitting like this for a long time. And if we don't come in and say, all right, we're going to save this, it's just going to continue to be an eyesore in the community. And so we're able to come in, we're able to fund it ourselves or get creative funding, clean up all this crazy mess and turn it into something beautiful so then somebody else can have their dream home to buy, or we're able to rent it to somebody who's not able to buy at the time. So it's really cool to look at this. It's sad what happens to people to get to this position, but it's awesome that we can bring it back to life.
Yeah. Neighbors typically love us in these areas when we're buying a house like this and turning it around. Whoever owns it has obviously already torn out the carpet. Try to do some to probably get rid of the smell. Typically carpets hold smell worse than anything, but you can see like severe staining in the subfloor, and it's bubbled up here. Tells me we're gonna have to come in and probably replace a good bit of the subfloor. And a lot of times you gotta do that just to get rid of the smell. You can kilt it, but I don't know if it's gonna work.
It's good slope too.
It's like peaked right here. You do have a little bathroom here. We'd probably have to rework it a little bit.
Yeah.
Switch the toilet and the vanity. Again, you've got substantial growth on the ceilings just from not being clean. We could take this wall out and open this up, make this space look bigger, make it feel a whole lot bigger in here. Again, you've got heavy staining on the floor, and this is peaking here as well. You can feel all this is uneven. Typically what we do when we come in is we'll pull all this out. We do not like unlevel floors. We use a floating LVP, and that tends to kind of show any imperfection in the flooring. So we'd take all this out, replace the subfloor. Again, that's gonna help with smell. You've got in here, there's stuff leaking down the walls. You got some mold growth. You can see where the seams right here are coming undone. That's typically a sign of moisture.
Especially this part right here.
Yeah.
Look at all that.
You got mold growth here.
That's like the final boss of lung deterioration.
There's no vent in the.
We typically
no
keep
exhaust
mold for decoration.
in the bathroom. That's a big contributing aspect to it. I mean, look at this. We've definitely got a lot of rot over here by the toilet, by the tub. Snatch this out. This whole thing just needs to be gutted and completely redone. Yeah, so with all this rot here, you can see when I press on it, it's starting to give. So that's going to all have to come out, and hopefully when we get underneath there won't be too much damage that has happened to the floor joists. Otherwise, we'll have to replace those too. So, you know, and I mean, this lovely design here, we might want to try and incorporate that back in the redesign, you know. So, Matt, make a note of that.
I will.
It's like somebody took a highlighter. And
Oh my
literally
gosh, it's like a
highlighted.
bad acid trip.
I just hope our camera guy doesn't fall through the floor this time. The last time we got a shot like this, he ended up 3 feet underneath the subfloor.
So this is another thing I always try to pay attention is this area. It's probably some settling, may not be, but you can see where it's split right along here.
So this is the third bedroom. Again, same thing with, I mean, a lot of this drywall is just gonna have to be redone. We're gonna have to come in, we can patch some of it, but a lot of it's just gonna have to be cut back open, tore out.
Yeah, these seams are split. It's split here and here.
And we remove,
Oh, all these have to go.
There is no central HVAC here. So we would have to install that. So that's typically for us about an $8,000
Was
cost. There isn't.
No.
Well, baseboard
Yeah.
heaters.
Vents there, yeah.
you got vents coming through
Oh,
the
there.
floor.
Yeah, we're good.
I mean,
But
you
it
probably
probably
have
still
to
has
put a
to
new
be
unit.
replaced, of course.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to put new ducts.
So when we think
Yeah.
about budget on this thing, let's look at what we're going through. We need flooring, we've got subfloor repairs, possibly some joist issues that'll have to be looked at. I noticed that the roof was 3-tab, so we'll probably have to change out the roof as well. We'll have to incorporate an entire HVAC system and likely new ductwork. Need to crawl under the house and check that out. We need new kitchens and baths, all new lighting. I think a lot of this trim is gonna just have to be tore out and replaced. That's probably easier to do that than to try and save it. And then really the doors will probably have to be replaced too. So
Yeah, it's borderline a gut.
after Matt was pointing out earlier, we'll probably have some electrical to update, and I guarantee you we're gonna have some plumbing to do too. So our numbers typically put us around the $50 a square foot in our area when we're rehabbing a cosmetic flip, okay? But that does not include the HVAC, the roof, if we need windows, major electrical upgrades, redoing all the plumbing. So those are things to consider. We do have a number roughly $70 to $80 a square foot if we have to replace all that stuff. But I like to sometimes think about it as $50 a square foot because depending on the size of the house, that number can change. Maybe it's not as much as I was thinking when we look at the $70 to $80. And what I would do is I'll say $50 a square foot. Now let me add these major ticket items. Each major ticket item, what's it gonna cost? So in a second, we'll do a rundown and we'll see where we're at. We always start with ARV when we're analyzing a property. What's this property worth when we're done with it? How much is it gonna cost us to get it there? What kind of time frame are we looking at? We realize what our profit margin needs to be, and then from there we make our offer.
So I ran this 1,200 square foot house, right?
Yep.
So I ran my numbers at 75. That's typically about something what this is going to cost.
All
So,
in. That's
all in.
including
HVAC,
HVAC, roof,
roof,
everything will be
all
about
that.
$75 a square
Yeah,
foot.
so that puts us about 90,000. If this house was one block over off this busy road, we're probably a 225, but because it's so close to this major road, we're probably 200 ARV after renovation value. So the way we're gonna run our numbers on it is 200,000 times 0.7. All right, that gives us 140. All right, so now our profit and some of our expenses are cut out, and then we're gonna subtract that 90,000 for renovations, and that gives us our MAO, which is max allowable offer of 50,000. So this house is listed at 125,000, and part of the game is you got to have the cojones to go in and offer 50 on a listing that's listed for 125,000. So, Jaron, make the offer.
Hey, let's make the offer. One thing that we do as well, so what Matt just did was run what's called the 70% rule. And it is, like, I would say the golden rule to live by as a new investor, especially because if you're buying properties, like we just said, at the 70% rule at that big of a discount, there's a decent amount that can go wrong throughout that rehab and you still be okay and not lose money. So one of the ways we also run properties, I don't have my phone, man, if you'll do it, or Brandon, is instead of running the 70% rule, because we know what our costs are going to be pretty close to the dollar because we do so many of these, what we'll often do is we'll take the ARV, which you said was 175, right? 200. Multiply it by 91%. Okay, so what I'm doing there is I'm taking 9% out for commissions and closing cost fees. Then we're going to subtract our rehab from that number, which is 90,000. So then we'll look at that 92K and we'll say, all right, what profit do we want to make on this particular home? If we want to make 40,000, well then we need to offer at the number that Matt said at 50,000. If we want to make 50,000, then we got to make an offer at 40,000. And so you can run your numbers backwards like that. And we do that a lot because these guys are so good at managing build costs and rehab costs. And so you look at a deal like this and people say, you know, I can't make any deals work on Zillow. And that's true if you look at what a property is listed at. But we've done what, 3 properties off Zillow in the last year, not even, of where the prices started way too high, but then we waited them out, we had conversations, and then after it had been sitting for a while, they dropped the price a little bit, we go in and shoot our shot, and you end up locking properties at 50% of what they started their list price at. And so just because somebody lists a property at a certain price does not mean that's what we're gonna buy it at, and it doesn't mean that they're gonna sell it at that. And so you got to be savvy. You got to keep an eye on what's out there, what you're interested in. Go walk properties. And are we going to get an acceptance on my $50,000 offer today? The odds are probably no. And we'll do some things to help our offer. We can close quick, right? We'll do cash. We can do no inspections. And so we bump up the strength of our offer. We're not getting a loan. We don't have to necessarily do due diligence, and that helps. But there's a good chance they're not going to accept $50,000 on a $125,000 list price today. But we've got the seller's mind working. Okay, well, the market's starting to say, we're getting $50,000 offers. This thing's been sitting for 2 months now. Do we want to get rid of this or do we not? And oftentimes, if you stay on it, that's how you get these deals. I think the biggest thing that investors run into is they get discouraged because they make 3 or 4 offers and they don't get deals. And it's like, how many offers do we make?
Lock it up.
Lock it up, baby.
Someone might break in and steal all the crap. Lockbox is right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're looking at me.
We're just waiting.
I got
on
the
you.
key lock, so here's what you do with these master locks, all right? And they never answer. Have you ever called a realtor and they answer?
Nope.
I've never called a realtor and got an answer.
We have
I've
a
never
realtor on
called-
our team that never answers his phone.
I've called a CPA. I've never found a CPA who answers when you call.
Attorneys.
Attorneys.
My attorney
That's
always
different.
answers
It's
when I
because it's
call.
your brother.
All right, so like Jaron was saying, Matt was saying, we have to get rid of these trees. They're right up on the house. We want to, a lot of buyers do not like that today, especially after Hurricane Helen that hit South Carolina
Helene.
back in September. Helen, whatever. So let's
Helen
check out
will
the
get mad if you
backyard
blame it on her.
because we couldn't get in the backyard through the back door. It was locked with a deadbolt, and the key just didn't work. So we want to check this out. Obviously, I'm not climbing the fence today, but it is fenced in. The property behind it is right on that fence line. So a little, not the most ideal on that standpoint, but again, we're under 200 grand. You just can't find houses today that are done for under 200 grand. All right, so we walked around to the other side of the property. Sure enough, of course the fence is broken. It's not up, but hey, I don't have to climb anything, so that's nice. So come back here, we can actually see what the back of the house looks like, get a view of the roof from the back of the property as well. And you can see the property. So again, not too bad. Decent little yard.
Got the chicken shack.
As figured, we just need to we just need a new roof, all new roof. It's all 3-tab shingle. That thing's got, it looks like all of the texture to it is practically gone. You can tell they're just worn, and it's gonna need to be replaced. So, all right, so anytime we have a great property like this, with a doghouse in the back or
Chicken
coop. Yeah, so we're gonna definitely have to update this too. So we'll throw some shingles on here, give it a nice little front porch,
New flooring, new windows.
install a solar
The
fan.
foundation's a little worried about foundation and water damage, so we got to figure out how we're going to grade this. Where's the septic going for this?
The roots are a bit of a problem. They could definitely be going into that foundation, that slab that's underneath there. So we'll have to get that.
But we
looked
can
into.
pay ourselves back in egg cells in 17 years. Somebody tell me, me and Matt, and hopefully Max, we're ready to go eat. We go to this barbecue joint every Thursday. This man standing in the house with me and says, I don't get hungry.
I ain't
Who
never been
doesn't
in
get
there.
hungry other than a vampire? He doesn't have a soul. Let's check his eyes, bro. You got to keep him out. Get out of the sun. You're gonna melt, bro.
I am a little pale, but
All right, so that concludes the tour of this property here in Easley. I want to go back through the numbers with you because I just kind of did a line item for it. Again, $200,000 house. We've got HVAC is going to run about $8,000. Roof is going to cost us $9,000. We got some demo that we're going to have to do. That's about $5,000. We'll spend about $4,500 on plumbing. Electrical will probably have about $6,000 in. Floors, $5,000. To paint it, it'll be $5,000. We'll probably put $15,000 in new kitchen cabinets and granite or quartz countertops. We'll spend about $7,000 in the bathrooms. Replacing the subfloor, it'll cost about $5,000. $1,500 in some lighting. There's some structural issues that need to be addressed, so we're assuming about $4,500. And then landscaping. We'll have to come in and clear some of this stuff out, take some trees off, plant some bushes and mulch, get the place pressure washed. That's probably about $3,500. That brings us to $80,000. So our 75 a foot budget's pretty close. Anytime we come up with a budget, we always put an additional 10% on it for anything that we don't know. So that brings us to $88,000. So $90,000 was about square on with what we thought it would cost to do the renovation of this property. So again, me personally, I think we need to be at 50 for our offer.
I like it.
40,000 profit feels comfortable to, a lot of people, you got to look at it like we got 50 here and then an additional 90,000. We got $140,000 that we have to spend to make the 40,000.
So Jaron will go back. He'll write up the offer. We'll get it submitted, and we'll just see what happens. Maybe we get it, maybe we don't, but we're going to give it a try.
You gotta shoot your shot.
These hands of mine have got some stories to tell. Seen parts of heaven and a whole lot of hell. Headed west to stake a claim.
Yeah, I've got to get an 811 address assigned on that lot. That doesn't take long, though. It's just a matter of a phone call. We'll have an address. Get get funding application completed, apply for permits. As soon as we get permits issued, we can go ahead and start moving. That is a common compliment that we get in every property that we do, is how well it's done and that we take the time to make it right.
And that's important because you have to understand, I think when you just first start out, at least my mindset was like this, you didn't think about the brand that you're building, whether you have a brand like we have Dad's Flipping Houses or whatever, or if it's just your name. Your reputation is all you have in life, and that goes for anything you do. And so making sure that you uphold that, people know, just like Brandon them said, when we do projects, and they were partners, you know, in their construction business before I came on, when they do projects, people know that they do really good work, and that spreads. Other agents start hearing about it. And so when you're listing a property and another agent hears about it, they've got a buyer, hey, you can trust that these guys do good work, because builders have a bad rep. And so if you keep that good reputation and then take care of issues, if they do come up after inspection, which is another thing we do a lot of, is we get an inspection oftentimes after we've flipped the property or built it, to make sure we're gonna be able to pass inspection. We also show it to the buyer. So probably not gonna get that second house, but the only way you know is by going and looking at it. And
You got to make the offer.
Got to shoot your shot. All right, guys, I want to say thank you for taking the time to join us today. And part of what we like to do when we're wrapping up is just take a moment in prayer. Father God, we come to you today. We just want to say thank you. Thank you for all that you do for us and all the blessings that you bestow upon our lives, for giving us the opportunity to come out and do what we love and enjoy, whether that's investing in real estate, coaching our kids in baseball, watching our son riding sheep and doing rodeo. Father, we thank you for watching over us, protecting us, keeping us safe each and every day. We ask that you continue to bless us, to continue to watch over our families, and guide us and direct us in all that we do. In your precious holy name we pray.
Amen.
Man.